Welcome to our third review of the evening. Um, Up this time is a game called Overclocked, and should clarify it's just called Overclocked because, much like Call of Cthulhu, there's actually a few games called Overclocked. And also,
Turns out the concept of overclocking is an interesting concept that gets used for various things in games that are actiony.
not even actiony. There is a game called Overclocked: The History of Violence, which is an adventure game. Like, this game is just called Overclocked.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, this is a action 2D platformer. Emphasis on the action, because you are playing as a cyborg superhero, basically,
Mm-hmm.
who punches in midair to get around. Um, it's like the story premise is, you are a cyborg. There are other cyborgs. Let's go fight crime.
You were a girl with an inferiority complex when they invented cyborg stuff, so you decided to get even more cyborg stuff than other people did. And then there were cyborg crimes, and someone that you know said, hey, want to fight cyborg crimes if we make you into a super cyborg? And you said, yes. And then you got injured, and then you got better.
Yeah. By the way, that is some gameplay and story dissonance right there. She managed to survive a pretty massive explosion, but if you play in the game, getting touched by really any turret or spite or purple glowy place.
Yeah, this is a speed attack style, one hit and you're dead. Fairly high mobility platformer style game.
Yeah. Now, it's not a outright masochist platformer like, say, Super Meat Boy or Dust Force or anything like that, because honestly, the game is pretty easy.
Yeah.
All things considered. Really, the bigger challenge is optimization. Like, this game is much more built around speed running. And,
or various technique, it caps your, or it matches your marks your best time for every stage, but also each stage has another challenge. Some of those are just do it in a certain time, but some of them are like get a combo, defeat enemies without enough time in between of certain numbers, or defeat a certain number of enemies without touching the ground, or don't air dash unless you're killing an enemy with it.
That will give you like an extra challenge token. I'm not sure what they call them, but the point of collecting collecting these things is that they will unlock further challenges in the challenge room. One of those. Now, as far as speedrunning goes, there are leaderboards. And this game makes a big deal about ascending the leaderboards. It's one of those games. As far as the actual levels go, they're fairly short. They're fairly simple. Also worth noting, the controls are very loose and floaty.
Yeah, I think that's actually the biggest challenge in this game, basically, rather than them demanding you to do something particularly hard. It's that even if you're playing a game with a better control pad than the 360 control that I was using, there's going to be some times where you're like, because in order to hit a lot of switches, you have to make a shockwave, which you can only get by dashing straight down, or shoot a shockwave forward, which you can only get by standing on the ground and dash punching diagonally forward. Or you gotta air dash between like platforms that are lasers that will kill you, or you gotta be very precise, and the controls aren't always, optimal for precision. They could be sharper.
Yeah. And worth noting, this is a completely free game. Like, it's one of those, you can go on Steam right now and download it. So everything here is very good, especially for a game that is free. Like, honestly, I think on balance, this is the best game we're reviewing this week. It's like
there's DLC for $4, which is the soundtrack, which I wasn't really playing with much music on. So
yeah, the soundtrack was all right. I don't know if I'd pay $4 for it, but to each their own.
Yeah, I like the soundtrack.
I like the soundtrack, but I don't $4 like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but once again, the game itself is free, so easy recommend along those lines.
It's fun, especially if you like platformers that require skill and pattern memorization and challenge.
Right. Or if you're into the speedrunning scene, like, this is, it's like, now, mind you, the production values and whatnot aren't amazing, but once again, this is an indie freeware game. So, it's pretty good for what you get. And easy recommend to download today. It's a fairly short game. Granted, I only got to level 3 because here's reviewing 4 games and dealing with holidays and family members and all that. That's not really conducive to long play sessions. But what I did play, I really enjoyed.
Also, there is a story. It seems to be at least a little bit interesting. So.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue I have here is there seems to be some significant gameplay and story segregation in terms of your super tuned cyborg power, wearing super tuned cyborg power armor. Why do you die in one hit when you bump into a toy helicopter? That's all. I just kind of feel like it would be a little bit more, or one of those. I swear they look like just rolling trash can robots. Like, they don't look like they would even damage a normal person, so I'm not sure if there's an in-game reason.
Something glowy purple energy?
But they don't even have the glowy purple energy. They're trash can robots.
Glowy purple energy.
Well, the glowing purple energy I get. I don't get the trash can robots.
They're made of glowy purple energy. I don't know. I guess the one thing I don't really like is because you only die in one hit, bosses are a pain.
Yeah, the boss is basically like an obstacle gauntlet that you have to memorize perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like a system where I could at least take one hit.
Or even if it was like a power-up where you can get armor that will give you one. Which maybe later in the game they have that, but it would be nice to have early on.
I mean, the trash can things have glowy purple energy saws that come out.
Yeah, but you don't have to hit that part. They have a weapon, but the weapon isn't the thing that kills you. Just any contact with them kills you.
At least the boss dies in one hit, so that's good.
Yeah, everything I haven't run into anything that doesn't also only take one hit. So that I guess turnabout is fair play on that. But
bosses take 3 hits.
Yeah, about 3, 4.
Oh, maybe. real bosses that aren't just Terrorist Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this also has Steam achievements.
Yeah, I don't think I think it has trading cards as well.
That's probably what my Steam is blathering on about stuff in my inventory for.
Probably.
But yeah, it seems like it's a fun game. It's definitely no harm in checking it out.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Hey, one of the achievements is die 1,000 times.
I'm almost halfway there.
Yeah, they'll expect you to die a lot because it's that kind of game.
Yeah.
Death doesn't.
And you don't usually get set back very far when you die because the stages are short.
Yeah. But yeah, from what I played of it myself, I enjoyed it. Can recommend it.
Okay then. So that'll about do it for Overclocked here. Be sure to tune in for our last review of the evening, Ghostery.